path, or moreover, the main hurdle is just to complete those L3. So that is one thing. And all right, so today we are going to be discussing a little about something that is line item subset. Okay, now this line item subset is itself not very much used. Okay, to be honest, like at least I have done like a lot of projects without line item subset using at least even once or twice. So don't think like that is a very what is say, like it's very much required, or it's very uh what do you say, I mean, it's just like you understand it, how this concept of line item subset is. There are other things on which you can focus more, and obviously some lookup and all that. So here it's line item subset, you just understand it from the purpose of learning, and maybe exploring a little, but you shouldn't be much disturbed, or you shouldn't be paying much attention over here at this point of time. So that is one thing. So just give me a minute. Let me open line item subset thing. So if I just talk about line item subsets, it's more like uh, you can take for an example, line item subset will be a list of items that is going to be drawn from one or more line items of the module. Now, what do you do actually? There are multiple line items in a module. You combine them together and you want to create a list by the combination of these line items. So if I just tell you, it converts line items into a list on which the calculations can be performed further. Now, if I maybe just quickly start sharing my screen, and then we'll understand about this line item subset instead, going through some blah, blah, blah. So just a second. Right, so I just opened one of the model, not module. Mhm. All right, so here you have something like 9 item subsets. Now, if I click here, insert, suppose, I mean, let me try one at this point of time. I'll show you guys what exactly I'm doing. I'll explain you as well. So you created one line item subset, you named it something. And then as soon as you create that, you see an option of modules over here. When you click here, you get an option like which modules you want to include in your line item subset. So for an example, maybe I select margin calculation and price growth rate. So these two are the modules. Okay. Now, when I have selected that module, I am now clicking on open. Now I'm getting an option like what are the members which you want to be added in a line item subset. And the member here means what are the line items which you want to be included under your list items. So for the example, maybe if I add in these 4 and 2 from here, maybe I'll just add one extra module just for the sake of simplicity. Okay, so the dimension is different here. Okay, so as there one comes in. All right, so this is one thing, and now I'm just going to be creating one module. We'll understand here what exactly it's happening.
Why did dimensions from line employee model didn't come? The dimension should be same.
I'll tell you. I'll tell you. So here, if you see, you just created one list, like I was mentioning. And in that list, you have added in the member of the module line item. Now, this was the list which we created, try one. Okay. And maybe I'll just add in some dummy line item here. Now, if you see, what are the members of this list? So the member of this list are nothing but the line items which are existing over there in your different modules. Hey guys, in a few minutes, what exactly I'm doing. Okay, just back, I was checking out certain dimensions. Okay, so the first thing, like to answer Akhil's questions, like what do you ask? Akhil, you asked something. I just missed that before I move ahead.
Yeah, no, earlier you in the subset, right? You tried to add modules from employees, but the dimension did not show up. Is it
Uh,
because the dimension should match?
okay, so what happens, like while you are creating these subsets, okay, make sure the dimensions are aligned, as in the dimension of margin calculation and volume inputs are same, okay, over here.
Okay. Yeah,
And when you were talking about the employees, that becomes an entirely what do you say, other uh,
other category.
I mean, that's from entirely other dimension. Even if you will be able to add that, that will not make sense. You'll understand it. I'll tell you like how. I mean, as soon as you understand this, you'll be aware of that as well. Okay. So that is one thing. And what I was trying to show you. Okay. So currently, just let me remove this employee one from here. I've included Rev03 and Rev02 volume inputs. So these are on the basis of and probably, yeah, okay. So these are on the basis of the dimension, G3 location and P2 products. And here is G2 country and P1 product family. I mean, of the same hierarchy though, these dimensions are. Now, I have a module, okay, which I have created is probably dimensionalized on the basis of G2 country P1 product family and obviously the line item which I have included, that is try one. Okay. Now, try one is more like the list item subset which we created. And because of that only, you have these members coming in. I'll show you. These revenue, cost of sales, margin and margin percentage. Because of the members over there. Now, if you write something like a collect function, so what it does is, it's gonna be pulling in the members and will be adding and collecting the values in this particular module. Now, what does this mean is, suppose I drill down for FY19, the revenue part. So in Rev03 margin calculation, for the chocolates, the revenue is 788,418. I mean, you can see it from here if I'm drilling it down. If you want, you can just verify it from here as well. Not much difference will be there. And FY19 data. 788,418. Okay. So the data from here, what this collect function did was it pulled the data from a different module, which was a store, and it has brought and stored it over here. So if you think it in a way, exactly what you're doing over here is you are just checking in the values of the line items which are there into the different modules, and you are just collectively adding it up here. That's it. So you collected the value, you used a collect function, you collected the values which are over there, you took the summation of those values and you just added in over here. Now the advantage is more like, in terms of, creation of reports or something, if you have to do like that, probably in a one single module itself, you can have multiple line items, and all this will help you to maybe create a better report instead, publishing the data from any other module or multiple modules. One thing to note over here is like when talking about the collect function, so collect function is more like you can't use collect function in other places apart from your line item subsets. So your collect function is specifically designed for the purpose of using it into the line item subset itself. And obviously the utility over here is it's just collecting in the values and showing me them together. Maybe if I just drill down the cost for FY19, probably what I'm going to be seeing over here is the corrected value for FY19 of the US as well over here. And this is how your line item subset works. Any question?
Ashik, where did you started with line item. Where is this option? Sure.
Subset. If you're using an old view, it will be at last below list. There will be list item subset.
Yeah, got it.
You got it right in the old view. I think you're using the old view.
Yes.
So it will be at the last.
Yes.
You select that, add in different modules over there, and accordingly you can form a list. Once you have formed a list, use it as a dimension in any module, and then along with the dimension, just create one particular module and try to use this collect function. You'll be able to see that you can collect the values from multiple modules and store it in a one module, and probably you can use that for the purpose of publishing it on the dashboards or maybe for reporting anywhere else. So this is what I had for this line item subset, what I wanted to cover. So if you guys have any questions, you can let me know. Meanwhile, I'll just maybe ping this into the chat as well. This is one of the better article on the community, which you can find for the line item subsets. Just go through that, okay, as well, for like prior understanding, or maybe if you have confusions at later point of time. And even if you'll have issues, you can let me know into the sessions. We can take them as well. So this is what I had from the line item subset angle. Now there is one topic left, okay, that is at ALM. Okay, ALM will take me around a session to complete, but obviously I don't want to start off today. Maybe I'll take that into the next session, and probably that session is going to be the last session in the terms of what I have to deliver from my side. Meanwhile, if you guys will have questions, issues, obviously we can take them into the other sessions. So just a suggestion, what I was willing to understand, like when you guys want to have that session for ALM, I mean, it's going to be obviously dependent upon what do you say, the way you are completing your exercises. Like that's what my idea is. I'm good to give tomorrow as well, but I don't want to complete and vanish. So when you guys think you are comfortable for that session for ALM?
Well, maybe Monday or Tuesday. That I prefer Monday. Depends on us.
Yeah, for me it is Tuesday is well and good.
Yeah, Abhishek, I'm okay at either Monday or Tuesday, at whatever you are comfortable, then I'm okay.
Okay. So what we will do is, like, we'll have a session on Tuesday, that ALM. Again, reiterating, that's going to be the last topic which I have to cover from my end. Still, if you guys feel something is to be covered or you want me to cover once again, I'm okay to do that, not a very problem. And meanwhile, try to complete these exercises, these sprint questions, and get yourself L2 certified. If you will have any questions in the terms which is acting as a blocker, we may take them into the next sessions if required. So if you have questions, let's discuss today, else wrap it up for now.
Abhishek, I have one request from you.
Mhm.
What about the resume preparation and then interview questions and all those things?
We'll cover that. I mean, we'll take that. Okay.
Okay, fine.
Okay, let's do one thing. Let's take that area now itself. Okay, so obviously this is gonna be subjective and from people to people, case to case. Maybe for Akhil that's gonna be a different one. Ramkrishna is gonna be a different one. Venus is gonna be a different one. So what I'm gonna be doing is I'll give you the pointers which you can add in your resume. Okay. You understand what I mean?
Yep, yep.
So if you want, okay, the idea will be more like, I'll just suggest you guys to show the experience of around 2 years in Anaplan. Okay, if you want to do all that, if you don't want, that's well and good, don't do. But I mean, 2 years will be enough for you guys to get a job in Anaplan. And it's always said, like, the least you show, the better it is, and the more you show, the worst it becomes. Because obviously, if you show that you are 3.5 years experienced, they will expect you to run the entire project on your own. And obviously, even if you crack the interview, survival becomes an issue at later point of time. So we'll try with 2 years of experience initially. That's what I suggest everyone. Okay, maybe even if you put one, it's also fine. I mean, it's as simple as that. The least you put, the better it is. So that will be idea. And in the terms like that, we are going to be covering maybe 2 projects, or maybe one support and one development project. For the development project, you guys need to say the story which we covered for this one. When we were discussing this real-time use case, channel slabs and all that. Do you remember?
Unilever. Is it?
Yeah, no, Abhishek.
No, Abhishek.
No.
We didn't discover any live projects. Only thing we got one case study, like what it is.
With a project. I mean, that's what you have to explain into the interview. Okay. At some point of time, you saw this page before as well, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes, Abhishek.
Now, see, I'll tell you in a nutshell what you have to say for that particular project. Okay. I hope you all 4 are not in one single interview, because the panelists will be more like the same project is coming in. It's fine. So, what story you have to narrate? Okay. So, this project was for what? I mean, add in your spices and whatever, but I'm just telling you the main content. So, this project was mainly for one of the leading FMCG client, implemented you till last year, maybe. Okay. And we implemented until some other region of world in that area. This project was mostly focused upon optimizing the revenue of this organization, and was revolving around the areas of inventory planning. Okay. So for this, what you did, like we were shifting the products based upon their shelf life into different sections or different slabs of discounts. So how it was used to be done was, on the basis of the shelf life of the products, we used to shift under different channels. We had 3 different categories of shelf life. For an example, the shelf life less than 28 days, shelf life between 45 and 28 days, and shelf life greater than 45 days. And the discounted channels were mostly categorized like 75% discount, 45 to 50% discount, and no discount channels. The products whose shelf life, we wrote a formula and we did the calculations in such a way, we categorized it that the products whose shelf life was less than 28 days used to move under this 75% discount channel, and the products whose shelf life was around 45 to 28 days, we used to move into 45 and 50%, and greater than 45 days will be moved into the no discount percentage channel. So this is like your, the entire project, how it was. Okay. Now, the intricacies involved over here, what extra you need to tell in. Okay, so to make someone in front sitting to believe that you have ideally worked, I'll tell you now. Okay, so this is going to be the story. Now you say like post we were, what do you say? After giving these discounted channels, we were publishing this onto the UX and the dashboard, and probably the planners used to take decisions and guide further. The data incoming over here in this project was coming from SAP. That story you have to tell. In the SAP, from the SAP, these files were placed in some shared folders. You guys remember this story? Yeah, right?
Yes, yes.
From SAP, these files, when I say these files, you mean to say like, there were master data, there were transactional data, which used to come from SAP. Now this master data, what this master data is, this product data, the geography data on which your organization would be operating upon. Okay. Now this master data, which includes maybe like product geography and blah, 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 other data, whatever you want to say at that point of time. And the transactional data is used to be placed in the shared folder. And from shared folder, we used to pick up these files into Anaplan. Now, how you used to pick up there, you had, now whatever I'm saying right now, please remember this. And if you don't understand, let me know, because this will be the driving factor of the interview now. From the shared folder, how the files were placed into Anaplan. Okay, so it was done with the help of, you used Informatica as an integration tool. Now in Informatica, just a second, let me open the notepad. I hope you guys can see my notepad, right? You guys can see the notepad, right?
Yes, Abhishek, yes.
Okay. So Informatica, what you used to have, there's going to be two connections which you will be making first. The first connection, flat file connection. This is called flat file connection. The second connection, Anaplan V2 connection. Remember the name, please specify these connection name, flat file connection and Anaplan V2 connection. So you had these two connections, and what you used to do post creating these two connections, you had a job, you created a job, and under that job, you were configuring the first connection. As soon as you configure the first connection, it allowed you to check which file you want to import or take from that shared folder. So maybe you define the first connection and you choose the file product.csv. And while you are creating a job, so this will be your source. So source, in source, the connection which you have to pick was flat file connection, and from flat file connection, as soon as you create this, you'll be able to see the files which are there into the shared folder. So that's going to be a product.csv, and then you will have something like target, and under target there is going to be the Anaplan V2 connection, the second connection which you choose. And as soon as you have this second connection, when you will be choosing that, you will be seeing the list of actions underlying in that Anaplan model. Like I mentioned, the actions should be used for automating the job. So you are going to be covering, or you are going to be taking that action over here and you're going to be defining that under your target. So maybe load product data. So this is the action name. And after you have defined your source and target, you used to just click on create and this job used to get created. Okay. Now let me once again tell you the entire story so that, we remember. So ideally over here, the data from the SAP had to be pulled into the database, or not database, into Anaplan. So the data from SAP has to move into Anaplan. So from that purpose, you can't have this done directly. So you were having a shared folder. Shared folder, how you were logging in, you were using one application that is High Secure Client, the name of that application. I hope everyone understand what shared folder is. Say something, guys. Yes, no, I'll assume that you understand and I'll not cover them.
Yeah, Abhishek.
Others, do you understand share folder?
Yeah, Abhishek.
Yes, Abhishek.
Okay, great. So the shared folder you were logging via High Secure Client, that's the name of the application. Now, why I'm specifying this, if they ask you, or even if they don't ask you, just mention you're logging in the shared folder by using an application that was High Secure Client where we were giving the username and password. So when you will try to log in into High Secure Client, you will be supposed to give the username and password. Now, who will give you this username and password? This will be given by the client side people, right? Because that's their folder. So they will be sharing you this user ID and password. So maybe I am working for Deepak Fertilizers, for an example. So username will be something like DFPCL. And if it's made on my name, Abhishek, like this, and password they themselves will be giving. And later on, I can change it. Okay. And how your High Secure Client used to look like. Okay, so this is the look and feel of that page. Okay. ACOPS High Secure. So what you're doing here, you are choosing in the server, then you are giving the username and password, and then you are clicking on login. And as soon as you log in, you have the access of their shared folder now. Okay.
Got it.
So once you have an access of their shared folder, what you're doing, you are coming into back into your Informatica and you are playing around with creating those integration jobs. So for creating an integration job, first you have to make two connections. The first connection, and why you're making this connection, so that the Informatica understands, like, what, from which systems it has to interact with. Okay. Now it needs to interact with the SAP. SAP? No, it doesn't need to interact. It needs to interact with a shared folder only, from where the SAP data is getting placed. So it needs to interact with that shared folder, and for shared folder connection, which you are specifying, is a flat file connection. Now, to even create this flat file connection, at first, we need to understand a fact, like how the connection entirely will be set up between an Informatica and this shared folder of client. What I mean, suppose this is a shared folder, how Informatica will understand the path of this shared folder? Or how Informatica will understand which Anaplan model? Do you guys understand my question? What I mean? So even if you are, when I'm telling like you are creating a connection, so connection you can only create once you have defined the path, correct? Because connection, when you are talking, connection is specifically can be created only once you have defined the path. So for this definition, so that there is an interaction between your Informatica and that shared folder, needs to be some sort of major connection created.
Mhm. So in the first connection that we are creating, is those connections we have to create and give the path of those file and the path of this model. Is it?
So you have a shared folder, suppose, okay. You have a shared folder, suppose this is your shared folder, okay. Now between your Informatica and shared folder, for this to understand, there needs to be some sort of ID of this shared folder, correct? So that could be fed here. So this is called secure agent, okay, in the terms. So you will be setting up a secure agent in Informatica, and the data will be taken, the identities and all that factors will be taken from this shared folder. So once you install the secure agent for the shared folder, now this shared folder becomes accessible for the Informatica. Okay. And setting up this secure agent will be a one-time activity. If they ask you who did this, don't say that you did. Okay. Say I don't, I mean, say like someone senior did that in the project. Like I wasn't involved in setting up the secure agent. I was involved in creating these Informatica jobs. That's what the story you have to say. So as soon as the secure agent is set up, now you know that your ETL Informatica can interact with this shared folder. Now, once it can interact with the shared folder, then in this shared folder, there will be multiple files: product file, geography file, inventory file, right? That will be coming from here, SAP, and it's getting placed. Now, once you have created this, then you are going to be creating two connections. Now, the one which we were talking. So the first connection will be a flat file connection. So this connection, it will specifically be allowing you to choose a CSV file. Maybe if I just name this connection as pick product file. So as the name suggests, you need to, this connection will be helping you to pick the product file. So while creating this connection, I need to specify like, product.csv should be chosen. Okay, so pick product file, you just are picking here. Okay, and the second connection, Anaplan V2 connection, and what Anaplan V2 connection is and how to do that. So each model has a workspace ID, okay, the one which you see at the top. And this is our model ID, workspace ID and model ID. So workspace ID is nothing but what do you say? As soon as you feed this is going to be connecting your Informatica with that specific model. Okay. Now, once you have created these two connections, you are creating an integration job. Integration job, you're defining the source and you're defining the target. The source is going to be your flat file connection. And as soon as you select your flat file connection, you will have list of files which are available into that shared folder. Then you are going to be creating a target, and that target will have what do you say? The target will have the list of actions which you will be creating and extra working upon. And once you have done this, you'll be clicking on create, and once you run this job, the file will be picked from the share folder and will be pushed into the Anaplan. Now, what you have to, this is like how it is done. Okay, what you have to say is that we were pulling the file from SAP via shared folder. We had ETL Informatica as a tool. which was used for this purpose to connect this, what do you say, to connect this shared folder and Anaplan. Into that, we had created two connections. The first one was a flat file connection, and the another one was Anaplan V2 connection. And we created multiple jobs for picking up a specific file. And post that, we scheduled these jobs. Now, obviously, when this file has to run, this all needs to be automated, right? So in Informatica itself, you have an option of adding in the schedulers. So you add in a scheduler, and at that time itself, the files will be picked. So you say, like, we had scheduled these jobs in Informatica every day around 12:30 a.m. in the morning, because that time the business and no one uses these applications. So every day the daily file will get refreshed. Now, please specify these points specifically, that your master data used to be, you used to run monthly jobs, and for your transactional data, the jobs used to run daily. That's how the scheduling was. Why for master data there is only a monthly job? Because master data will not change frequently, correct? So you don't need to update that every day. Only at the first day of a month or 30th of a month, you used to update this master data. You run these. I mean, accordingly, you can define these timings into the scheduler. And for your transaction data, this used to be done daily. So number of master data which you were picking was 6. Number of transaction data files which you were pulling was 7. Or convert master data to 5 and transaction data 7. That's what the figure which you have to tell if they ask you how many files you were pulling. And post pulling, obviously the file was pushed into the data hub model. Okay, so that's what the story will be from the perspective of your source data. If they ask you, like, from the dashboard, were you pushing the data to some other system? You say no. Dashboard was the end system which was used by our planners. Any questions here, guys?
So what if is there a possibility of saying that we don't have experience this level?
Sorry?
I mean, how was the market if we say that we are freshers? Like we have, of course, we have other experience, but we have learned, completed the certification, but we have not worked on real-time project.
See, both will work. Okay, both will work. Both will work. Even, I don't know, did I mention and all? So I think when you guys started this session, when I started, there were a couple of folks. One folk was in Infosys, like he was like around 11, 12 years experience. Okay. And he just said that he is L1 certified, and then also Infosys recruited him. Forget about L2. He just said, I'm L1 certified. I just completed that. And Infosys took him as a senior consultant. And he is currently working since like 2 to 3 months. There is Deloitte who will even take you with only your certifications based upon your experience as well. So see, not going into the names one by one, but specifically the matter of fact is, like, a lot of organizations are ready to take you even if you are just trained in Anaplan, even if you have learned on your own with your prior experience. Now this is going to be a twofold approach actually, Akhil and everyone. So first, try by saying genuine things, okay? If it doesn't work, then obviously there's a crooked way as well every time. Because if you say genuine that you are just trained, the expectation will be less. Try to find that. I mean, float your resumes maybe for some time. You'll get an idea, like, is it good idea to go with 0 experience? If you're able to find, well and good. If you're not, then obviously 2 years one will be helping you for sure.
Okay.
But just to say that, is there any opportunity only for someone who is trained? I'll not say it isn't. It is. I mean, I know a lot of folks who just got placed with 0 experience in Anaplan. They said genuinely in interview, and there was demand, and the interviewer took them as well. But this is like telling 0 experience is like entirely your luck. I mean, as depends upon the company's requirement on that at that point of time.
Yes, got it.
So That's how. So follow the approach of, minimizing and then maximizing threshold maximum 2 years, minimizing is obviously 0. And this project you just explained, and if they ask specifically, okay, now that is one thing. And talking about your resumes, I'll share you a few pointers, okay guys. Maybe I'll show you one as well, resume today or maybe next session. Okay, I'll show you in the next session, or just give me a second, let me find it if I have it today handy itself now.
Can you share one to our email IDs if you have a sample one?
Okay. So that will be, I mean, what I'll be suggesting you as you just use that as a pointer, okay? I
Yes.
mean, obviously the format and all will be disgusting. Okay, I'll share a couple of these projects. I mean, what is a resume. So the area, like, how it is, like your project FPN, if you want to mention, you mention like this, part of 2-member implementation team. So you guys always say like you're part of 3-member implementation team. Okay, if you have to say, if you're going to be proxying. So what are the, like pointers? It's looking like this: requirement gatherings, worked on user creation stories, all that. I'll share that, and maybe we'll discuss that as well. I mean, we'll give some time and we'll just understand like what is the meaning of those pointers. So that's how, you guys just mentioned 2 projects, one development, one support, and rest, you can add in your previous experience if you want to. I'll share these to your resume maybe tomorrow to your mail ID, and you guys can, accordingly use those pointers to add them in your resume as well.
Sure.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, guys, then I'll just wrap it up for today. And probably we are going to be meeting next on Tuesday in that case. And I believe like by Tuesday, you guys will be done with your sprint P or maybe conclusion exam as well. Mhm. All right, then let's
Thank
wrap it up for today. Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you.